Tonight, the palace is facing a crisis they can't contain, and it all begins with one chilling line uncovered in a private message. "We are in this together." That sentence has reignited a scandal they spent years trying to bury. And now, with an eviction underway, money disappearing, pressure coming from across the ocean, and royal insiders quietly panicking behind closed doors, the stakes have never been higher. This situation is spiraling fast, and the deeper it goes, the more dangerous it becomes, not just for him, but for the entire institution holding its breath. Watch until the end, because this story might explode in a way no one saw coming. And if you want more breaking royal updates like this, make sure you hit subscribe.
For years, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor lived inside a world built on protection. Royal Lodge wasn't just a home, it was a bubble. A sprawling, secluded estate where cameras couldn't reach, questions couldn't follow, and consequences always seemed to stop at the gate. But all of that collapsed the moment King Charles finally stepped in. The titles were gone, the honours vanished, even the subtle courtesies that once shielded him were stripped away, leaving him exposed in a way he had never experienced before. Then came the order that hit harder than anything else. He was being removed from Royal Lodge. The 30-room mansion he'd held on to for decades was no longer an option. The palace wanted him out, and not eventually, not hypothetically, but in a real scheduled transition that would push him into a far smaller, far quieter house on the Sandringham estate. For anyone else, this might have been the end of a long, humiliating chapter, a clean break, a final consequence. But Andrew didn't react with silence or acceptance. Instead, insiders say he dug in, he pushed back, and he made it very clear that he wasn't going to fade into the background just because the palace wanted him to. His world was shrinking, but his resistance was growing. And that's where the real tension began, because once the palace realized he wasn't stepping aside peacefully, everything that happened next became a high-risk negotiation none of them expected to face. And the moment money entered the picture, things escalated even further. The moment finances entered the conversation, the palace realized this wasn't just an eviction, it was a battle for control. According to multiple reports, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor began insisting on a lifestyle that no longer matched his reality. Titles gone, duties gone, public role erased, yet behind the scenes, he wanted everything to stay exactly the same. Insiders claim he pushed for a full staff, the kind normally reserved for senior working royals, a private cook, a housekeeper, a secretary who also performs butler duties, and gardeners to maintain the grounds he believes should remain immaculate. For someone whose official responsibilities ended years ago, the requests stunned even those who had defended him in the past. At the same time, the financial ground beneath him was shifting. King Charles had already reduced the support Andrew once relied on, cutting the allowance that kept his lifestyle running smoothly and tightening the budget that had shielded him from consequences for decades. According to royal sources, this change hit harder than expected, and it sparked a quiet panic about what comes next. Because, for Andrew, this isn't just about a house or staff, it's about survival, inside a world where every privilege he once took for granted is now disappearing. Reports suggest he's pushing for long-term guarantees, protection, funding, and assurances that nothing will collapse further once Prince William eventually ascends the throne. And that's where this story turns from uncomfortable to dangerous. Because when a person feels their influence slipping, the value of what they know becomes their strongest bargaining chip.
And that brings us to the one thing the palace fears more than any financial request: the secrets he still carries. If money is Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor's immediate problem, then information is the quiet weapon sitting in the background, the part of this story the palace reportedly dreads the most. For decades, he lived inside the inner circle of the monarchy. He saw crises unfold behind closed doors, watched scandals get contained before they ever reached the public, and understood exactly how the institution protects its own. That level of access doesn't disappear just because his titles did, and according to insiders, he knows it. But he's not the only one. Sarah Ferguson, the woman who has lived with him at Royal Lodge for years, has her own vault of royal knowledge. Their lives remained intertwined long after the divorce, and every major crisis he faced, she witnessed up close. Now, with both of them losing the home that protected their privacy and facing uncertain futures, rumors have intensified. Reports claim that Sarah has been encouraged to write another memoir. Others say Andrew himself has quietly hinted more than once that he could speak publicly if pushed too far. Not out of revenge, not for drama, but because having nothing left to lose can make a person unpredictable. The palace understands that better than anyone, which is why every decision, every budget cut, every housing demand, every quiet meeting is being handled slowly, carefully, and strategically. One wrong move, and the situation shifts from a private negotiation to a very public disaster. And just as the palace tries to control this fragile balance, something far more explosive lands in their lap: a new demand from across the ocean. Because this time, it isn't the British press asking questions, it's the United States Congress. Just when the palace thought they were juggling enough problems, a new threat surfaced, and it came straight from the United States. Lawmakers have now requested a formal, transcribed interview with Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, and they aren't treating this like a polite invitation. They're treating it like unfinished business. At the center of their request is a line that's been resurfacing everywhere: "We are in this together." According to their letter, those words were found in an old exchange involving Jeffrey Epstein, a connection that has haunted Andrew for years. And now, with political pressure rising, Congress wants answers about what those 6 words meant, why they were written, and what else was discussed behind closed doors. For Andrew, this couldn't come at a worse time. His home is slipping away, his finances are shrinking, and the palace is making it clear they're not stepping in to save him from outside scrutiny. Yet despite all of that, the response from his side has been familiar: silence. No comment, no cooperation, no willingness to address the growing list of questions. And that silence speaks louder now than it ever did before. Because when someone avoids pressure this intensely while their world is collapsing around them, it only fuels more suspicion, more attention, and more headlines. Exactly what the monarchy wanted to avoid. To make matters worse, recent sightings of Andrew have only increased the tension. Reports describe him being quietly escorted in the backseat of cars, hidden from view, tucked away as if he's trying to avoid even a single camera flash. A man who once walked into royal events with confidence now moves like someone trying not to be seen at all. But hiding won't stop what's coming. Congress isn't backing down. The public isn't losing interest, and each unanswered question raises 10 more. With pressure mounting on both sides of the Atlantic, the palace now faces a terrifying reality. The more cornered Andrew feels, the higher the risk that he pushes back or speaks out. And that brings us to the final phase of this story: a shrinking world, rising demands, and an endgame the palace hoped would never come. As the pressure builds, one thing has become impossible to ignore. Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor's world is collapsing inward. The mansion that once kept him hidden from controversy is slipping from his hands. His funding is drying up, his influence is fading. Even his movements are being restricted, with insiders saying the goal is simple: keep him out of sight and keep the monarchy out of trouble. But despite losing almost everything, he isn't stepping back. He is negotiating, resisting, and pushing for the kind of treatment only senior royals receive, even though he no longer holds a single royal honor. Every demand he makes adds another layer of tension, because those demands aren't just about comfort, they're about control, they're about security, they're about protecting a lifestyle and a legacy he refuses to let go of. And behind all of this, the palace is engaged in a delicate balancing act. Push him too hard, and they risk provoking a backlash that spills into the public eye. Go too soft, and they look weak, further damaging an institution already under scrutiny. They are dealing with a man who may no longer have status, but still has reach, a man who has lived through decades of secrets and scandals behind palace walls, a man who, if pushed to the breaking point, could choose to speak in ways the monarchy is desperate to avoid. So now, every move is calculated, every conversation is cautious, every headline is monitored, because one wrong step could ignite a chain reaction the palace cannot control. Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor may be living in the shadows, but he isn't silent, he isn't settled, and he isn't done fighting for the last fragments of the life he once had. The palace wants closure, he wants protection, and until those two goals finally meet, the drama isn't going anywhere. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Should he still receive staff, funding, or privileges, or has he already been given more grace than anyone else ever would? More royal updates are on the way, so make sure you're subscribed.